So first up, we have candidate for Arizona Governor Kari Lake. She takes her campaign on the road. In other words, she's just doing a road show across Arizona because her opponent refuses to debate. And this is in the Epic Times. It's also in a bunch of other newspapers as well. You know where you won't see it very often is in the Arizona newspapers or news sources. You won't, because the news media is covering up for an individual who doesn't want to debate in a republic. That's the whole purpose of having someone represent you, is to know what they stand for and to have a compare and contrast debate between the two so you can make an intelligent decision as to who you want to vote for. So Arizona Democrat candidate for Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs, who's a far lefty, has refused to debate her Republican opponent, Kari Lake, ahead of the November 8th midterm election, with Hobbs's campaign telling local media she won't argue with a conspiracy theorist. There you go. Instead, Hobbs's Arizona Secretary of State requested a town hall style format where each candidate would sit for 30 minutes in an interview in a controlled setting. In other words, no compare and contrast between the issues. Obviously, that is exactly what the Democrats don't want. They don't want compare and contrast, as I've said before. So Secretary of State Hobbs, who's running for governor of Arizona, remains willing and eager, quote, to participate in a town hall style event, such as the forum she participated in September, in which Arizonans were able to hear directly from her about her in-depth policy plans and how she would approach governing the state, wrote Nicole DeMont, Hobbs's campaign manager, in a letter to the Citizens Clean Elections Commission in Phoenix. So in other words, in Arizona, the best way to get elected, if you're Katie Hobbs, is to not tell anyone anything about what you believe or what you would do if you were elected. Debates are critical. The political debate is perhaps as old as politics itself. It's an opportunity for the voters to gauge the candidate's image, honesty, and substance. It's considered democracy. Debates are a critical tool for voters to learn directly from candidates about where they stand on issues. Yeah, you think? Said Clean Elections Voter Education Director Gina Roberts. Quote, voters are often inundated with messaging from different sources during this election season, and debates offer voters a direct line of communication with the candidates. Yes, it does. So, as polls are tightening, and since there isn't a debate, because clearly the Democrats are going to lose on policy all day long in Arizona, Kari Lake decided, ladies and gentlemen, to take the show on the road in Arizona, and she decided to go campaign and do press releases and take questions and so forth from the media and from individuals. But of course, instead of the reporters in Arizona asking Kari Lake, instead of the reporters asking Kari Lake questions or her opponent questions about why there isn't a debate and why debate would be a good thing, no, reporters aren't doing that at all. Instead, the reporters are asking about abortion to Kari Lake. Yes, that's correct. So think about it. You have a situation where the border is completely and utterly insecure in Arizona. You have an economy that is tanking, a stock market that is tanking. You have the United States in upper single-digit inflation, 8.5% thereabouts, and you have interest rates that could, along with inflation, hit double digits, kind of like the 1970s. We don't know, but we know it's not good. We have gas prices through the roof, and we have the world in disorder and potentially entering a new phase of a potential world war. Some might say that it is already occurring. This is something that I've argued for many podcasts, that we have so much instability in the world that we are in de facto world war, but it is a covert world war. Nonetheless, the corporate media doesn't want to have actual debates about all of these issues. So corporate media want voters to believe it's Republicans who must defend their pro-life stance. But as Arizona's GOP gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake pointed out in a recent exchange with a reporter, it is Democrats who should have to explain their support for abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy, which, by the way, is true. Okay? It's true in many states. And I can tell you in my state, it is definitely true, and the media has utterly hidden this from the American people and from the citizens of my state. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a clip from Kari Lake. Remember, this is the individual running for governor. She's a Republican in Arizona. And Kari Lake wants there to be a debate. But because there isn't, she's doing the roadshow. She's talking to reporters openly, being very accessible about her beliefs. And the reporters aren't asking a single question about her opponent because her opponent is in hiding like Joe Biden was when he was running for office because they can't defend their policies. Here's the clip from Kari Lake. Listen to this. Here it is.
Tell me, abortion is effectively banned in the state right now. Tell me, is that something that you support?
I support saving as many lives as possible. And what I really want to know, and I've been waiting, I tune into you guys all the time. I want to know where Katie Hobbs stands, but I never hear you guys ask her that. I'm pro-life. My plan would be that every woman who walks into an abortion clinic know that there are options out there. They don't have to choose that. There's families who would love to adopt a baby. And right now, the way it's been going, they go in and they only have one option.
That's it.
Nobody tells them that there's other options. We want to help our women. If they're afraid, we want to help them. We want to give women health care, and I want to help people. But I really challenge you, and I'm happy to get back to you on this, when you find out where Katie Hobbs stands, because let me tell you where she stands. She supports abortion right up until birth and after birth.
That's right.
She supports if a baby survives a botched abortion, that baby die on a cold metal tray. And none of you ever try to get her to talk about her stance. So get back to me after you do. And tell her. And tell her that I want to debate this topic on October 12th, but she really needs to show up for that debate.
Yes. So that is epic, right? Because here is a woman, okay? A woman who, of course, can get pregnant, unlike Pete Buttigieg. They cannot. A woman who's talking common sense about this issue. Namely, that life is so important, and she's talking, and I believe her when she says this. She truly cares about life. And the Democrat Party has adopted policies. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this, okay? I can tell you this as a legislator. It is 100% true. And I know Christopher Hopkins, who's a millennial, will back me up on this, that in my state of Maryland, it is the law that you can, if you so choose, abort a child in the 9th month of pregnancy, and the child can be deemed perfectly healthy, and the mom can be deemed perfectly healthy. All the mom has to do in order to obtain the abortion in the 9th month of pregnancy with that perfectly healthy child is to sign a statement that she is having a mental health crisis. Okay? Her life isn't in danger, just that she's having a mental health crisis. And then there are a couple of clinics in my state that will engage in and perform such abortions. Ladies and gentlemen, the media is silent on this in my state. They are silent on this in Arizona. Isn't this true, Chris?
Yeah.
It's 100% true. Okay? 100% true in my state. The media is silent. They do not talk about this ever. They always engage in this attack of Republicans who are holding these principled positions that life matters, and can't we even have a conversation that in the 9th month this is murder? Because it is the ninth month of a perfectly healthy human being. And you have Kari Lake, who is having this conversation because her opponent is not only unwilling to have a debate, but her opponent isn't being asked any questions by the media, the same media that's going after Kari Lake nonstop as Kari Lake goes on a tour across her state and talks about the issues. And what the Democrats learned, I believe, from the 2020 election with Joe Biden is that a complete moron can hide in his basement and win an election. This is a whole other story. He can, quote, win an election, unquote, simply by hiding from the media. And the media never has to ask him any questions because they don't want to. This is not a functioning republic, ladies and gentlemen. This is a post-constitutional republic when you have a media and you have enough Americans who think that is okay for any candidate to not debate. It's just disgusting and it is wrong. But I just want to say kudos to Kari Lake for taking on the issues, speaking about these issues in a principled and honest way. And her opponent, of course, who is hoping that she can get over the finish line. The Democrat wants to get over the finish line by hiding what she wants to do. And folks, we already know, right? Empty out the prisons, more people, innocent people get murdered. No borders, of course. And then we have overpopulation in our country of towns and cities, and including terrorists who are crossing over the border, and fentanyl and human trafficking. And they think that's okay, the Democrats. An economy that is faltering, people that are going to be unemployed. What I don't understand is that we're being told that people are being laid off across the country and that is likely to continue as the Fed increases interest rates. Well, where in the heck are all these people going to be working who are crossing the border? So the Democrat Party is really engaging in policies that are destroying the United States of America. And there's no way we can actually know about policy alternatives if we don't have debates.